Welcome to Adjunctitis, from surviving to thriving, teaching hacks to reduce stress, save time, and avoid common pitfalls. I'm April Brown, an associate professor of journalism at Cal State LA. Welcome to Season 2. I'm proud to announce that Adjunctitis is a 2024 Webby honoree in the Advice and How-To category. Now, on to the content. We are coming to the end of our 3-part series on supporting students with disabilities. So, welcome to episode 22. What are our alternative formats and why should I care? First, the story. One semester, I had a student who was hard of hearing in my course. I hadn't received any notice about special accommodations, but he disclosed that when we were having a class conversation. I happened to be mentioning at one point a documentary I'm working on about a boy with autism and how he sees the world through cars. So I pulled up a video from my website and showed the class. That video wasn't subtitled, and when I made it, I didn't even know I would be using it in class. But it should have been, because unless he or anyone who saw it who was hard of hearing or deaf, if they couldn't read the lips of the person who was on screen talking, they wouldn't know what was going on. And oftentimes, I covered the interview with video or photographs of other things. Because we're always in a rush to create, grade, assign, and all of the rest of the things we have to do, I really hadn't stopped to think before about how difficult it would be for students who are deaf or hard of hearing to understand some of the material that I share. And unless I receive a notice about an accommodation or they share that information with me, I wouldn't even necessarily know they have an issue at all. So today we're going to cover alternative formats like closed captioning, descriptive video, and that brings us back to my conversation with Gonzalo Centeno, the director of Cal State LA's Office for Students with Disabilities. Gonzalo Centeno, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you for the invitation.
It seems to me, at least in my experience over the last few years, it's common to have at least one in every class get these accommodations.
Yeah.
And so when I get to that part of the syllabus, I say, if I got a notice, I will, do whatever it asks me to do. If there's something else I can do to help you succeed in this class, whether you have a documented disability or not, let me know. And that kind of, I think, invites everyone to tell me if they want to about what can make it better.
Exactly. It's when you say how to make it better, but I think, and I encourage everyone, just, have your class as you would. Don't worry too much about, did I do this or did I not do that? I think, like you said, presenting the information at the beginning of the semester, presenting the option of, hey, we have resources on campus. As long as you present that information and make it available to students, I think that's important. Oh, one new thing, which
Please.
we're heavily enforced. I hate to use the word enforcing, but anyway, we're heavily providing more information about. Our department, my associate director, Diana, has been working extensively with CETO.
That would be our Center for Teaching and Learning, for those of you who don't have that particular thing at your school.
And with the ITS people regarding making sure that we notify faculty about alternative formats. What that means is that if you have any documents that you upload into your Canvas shell for students to use,
the learning management system,
you need to make sure that they are accessible. Well, accessible means that they may be readable if you have a blind student, for example, by screen readers. Or even if you have a student with a learning disability that uses a screen reader, it needs to be accessible to those students as well. And for any questions about remediating documents that you upload, check the accessibility website, and then someone will be able to assist you with that. The other thing too, and I think it's very important, is videos. It's a good practice that if you're going to have any videos in your class, that they all be closed captioned. And in some cases, more and more these days, you're going to be asked to have descriptive video added to it. That is for blind students. So if you're showing a video in class, you have the captions that can address the accessibility for any deaf student or any student with a learning disability that may benefit from the captions. But if you have descriptive video, that's also going to be very important, especially if you have a blind student in the class, because you want to make sure that they can again, participate on an equitable level as their other peers in the class.
I would imagine that AI is making it easier to provide accessible materials, but I don't know exactly how I would go about adding descriptions for students who couldn't see it. So is that something like I would submit a video and then AI or someone from your office does that for me?
So you're going to submit it in the accessibility webpage, but on there is where you can submit a request to get descriptive video on videos. Do it early because it does take some time, but you're notified if someone in your class may need an accommodation. So it's a good time right now to start checking to see what you have on your class program for the semester, and if there's any videos, just to have it available. At least make sure that they're closed captioned and that they're correctly captioned. Sometimes YouTube will have these where you can caption it with what they have, but go back and make sure that it's correct. Double check, and then where it's not correct, just correct it. But have it ready so that whether or not you have a student in the class, have it ready so you can be able to show it, and if someone can benefit from it, great. I had a deaf student, a graduate student, to just complete his program. And one of the things he said in an interview he made of me, he said, I just wish that I wouldn't have to ask all the time to get it captioned, that it would just be. And that's so true. I think everyone deserves that right to be able to go into a class and then you're going to show a video that it's already accessible.
Yeah, and I think if we don't have particularly a hearing disability or a visual disability, it is not something we think about when we are planning our classes. Perfectly honestly, especially before when I didn't even know that there was a way to do this.
Yeah. And the good thing is now, like I said, the university has a process, has a program where faculty can definitely benefit from. Send in your videos and then they'll help you take care of it.
Good, because I have about 77 videos that I use every year. So I'm sorry to whomever will be seeing that request.
Okay, sounds good. Then get started so they can get going on it.
Gonzalo Centeno, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
As always, there are resources related to this topic in the teaching tools section of our website, adjunctitis.com. For this episode, you can find things like accessibility guides and accessibility checkers, but of course, you should also see what resources your own institution has. If you have questions you'd like me to try and answer, please send them to questions@adjunctitis.com. Meanwhile, social media is a great tool to get everyone involved in the conversation. Right now, we're on Threads, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube with the handle @adjunctitis. And you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/adjunctitis. If this has been helpful, we'd appreciate a follow, a thumbs up, or even a review. It does help more people find us. Please spread the word and help those who ask you for help. It's good teaching karma. Adjunctitis is a Look at It This Way production. I'm April Brown. Thank you for listening. Class dismissed.